Picture this. I'm standing in my kitchen, the scent of freshly brewed coffee curling through the air, and I'm staring out the window at a world bathed in golden light. My name's Alex. I'm 33, and I've got this unshakable feeling that today is going to be one for the books. I've been married to Rachel for 5 years. Now she's 31. A graphic designer with an eye for beauty in the smallest details. We've built a life full of adventure, always chasing the next thrill together. Whether it's hiking through untamed trails or sneaking away for a weekend where we lose ourselves in each other's company. If you catch my drift, there's a fire between us that never seems to dim, and I'm damn lucky to have her by my side. I've also got my crew. My brothers from another mother, 3 guys who've been with me through thick and thin since our college days. There's Mark, 34, a mechanic with a laugh so loud it could wake the dead, and stories that could keep you hooked for hours. Then there's Jake, 32, a software developer who's always got a quick quip up his sleeve, keeping us on our toes. And Tim, 35, a high school teacher, the quiet one of the bunch. But when he speaks, you listen, his words carry weight. The 5 of us, we're a unit. From wild road trips where we'd blast music until dawn to late nights at dive bars sharing secrets over cheap beer, we've got a history that's unbreakable. The trust, the bondits, everything to me. This particular Saturday morning, the sun is shining like it's got a personal vendetta to make everything glow. And I'm buzzing with excitement as I load up my old pickup truck. The engine grumbles to life, a familiar rumble that's carried me through countless memories. Rachel slides into the passenger seat beside me, her sundress catching the light, a soft yellow that makes her look like a piece of sunshine herself. She's humming along to some old tune on the radio, her voice light and carefree, and I can't help but steal glances at her. Her hair's tied back in a loose ponytail, swaying with every bump in the road, and I feel this swell of pride in my chest knowing she's mine. Behind us, Mark, Jake, and Tim are piled into Jake's SUV, probably already cracking open a soda or two, their laughter echoing through the open windows as we head toward Lake Willow. The drive isn't long, just enough time to soak in the anticipation. When we pull up to the lake, it's like stepping into a painting. The water shimmers under the midday sun, a mirror of blues and silvers stretching out before us. A gentle breeze rustles through the trees lining the shore, carrying the faint scent of pine and earth. Somewhere in the distance, birds chirp, their calls weaving into the quiet hum of nature. It's perfect, almost too perfect, and I can feel the weight of the week slipping off my shoulders already. We park near the lakeside shack, a weathered little spot that's been renting out boats for as long as I can remember, and pile out to grab our gear. Loading up the sturdy wooden rowboat is a chaotic affair, but the kind that feels like family. I'm hauling the cooler, packed with drinks and snacks, while the guys toss in fishing rods and a couple of worn-out blankets. We push off from the shore, the boat rocking gently under our weight, and I take the oars for the first stretch, feeling the familiar burn in my arms as we glide across Lake Willow. The water's calm, reflecting the clear sky above, and for a while, it's just us and the quiet, broken only by the occasional splash of a fish or a distant bird call. After some time, we find a good spot in the middle of the lake, and I anchor us down, the chain clinking softly as it hits the water. We settle in, and the mood is light as Rachel starts unpacking the sandwiches she made earlier. Thick, hearty ones with turkey and cheese, just the way I like them. She hands them out with a smile, and we pass around cold cans of soda, the hiss of the tabs popping open, mixing with the soft lapping of waves against the boat. I'm leaning back against the side, one arm draped over the edge, feeling the sun warm on my skin. It's peaceful, the kind of moment you wish you could bottle up and keep forever. Mark's telling a story about a busted engine he fixed last week, his voice booming over the water. and Jake's chuckling, tossing in a sarcastic jab or two. Tim's just listening, a small smile on his face, content to take it all in. I glance at Rachel, expecting to see her laughing along, but instead, she's staring at Mark. Not just looking staring, with this intensity in her eyes I've never seen before. Her gaze lingers, sharp and unblinking, and a flicker of unease twists in my gut. I try to brush it off, telling myself it's nothing, just a trick of the light or my imagination running wild. Why am I even bothered by a look? She's my wife, for crying out loud. I've got no reason to doubt her. But still, there's this nagging little voice in my head, whispering questions I don't want to hear. Am I overreacting? Is there something I'm missing? I shake it off, forcing a smile and trying to focus on the laughter and warmth around me. The drive home from Lake Willow feels like it stretches on forever. Even though it's the same short route we took this morning, I'm gripping the steering wheel of my old pickup a little too tight, the leather creaking under my hands, while Rachel sits beside me, staring out the window. The silence between us is heavy, almost suffocating, like a thick fog I can't see through. Neither of us says a word, and I don't even turn on the radio to break the tension. My mind is a storm, replaying every second of what happened out there on the lake, every glance, every word, every moment that felt so wrong. I can't shake the image of her eyes locked on Mark. The way her voice cut through the air with a confidence I didn't recognize when she told me to stay still, like I was just a bystander in my own life. We pull into the driveway and I kill the engine, the sudden, quiet, somehow louder than the rumble of the truck. I step out, the gravel crunching under my boots, and start unloading the gear with mechanical precision. I haul the cooler out of the bed, the ice inside sloshing as I carry it to the garage. And I can feel Rachel moving behind me, grabbing the blankets without a word. We step into the house, the familiar creak of the front door sounding sharper than usual, and I set the cooler down by the kitchen counter. The place feels too still, too empty, like it's holding its breath along with me. I wander into the living room and sink onto the couch, my eyes fixed on the blank TV screen. I don't bother turning it on. I wouldn't be able to focus anyway. Rachel disappears down the hallway toward our bedroom, muttering something about changing out of her lake clothes. And I'm left alone with the chaos in my head. I keep seeing it over and over, the way she leaned in close to Mark, the way her hand brushed against his arm, the way she seemed to forget I was even there. Anger burns in my chest, hot and bitter, because how could she do this to me, to us? But there's confusion too, gnawing the next morning. I'm sitting at the kitchen table. The rich, earthy aroma of coffee brewing fills the air, wrapping around me like a familiar blanket. But there's no comfort in it today. My fingers tap, a restless rhythm on the worn wooden surface, each beat echoing the thudding in my chest. I've been up half the night, replaying everything from the lake, trying to piece together what it all means. I've rehearsed what I'm going to say to Rachel 100 times in my head. But every version feels wrong, like I'm grasping at smoke. My heart's racing, a wild thing caged to my ribs, and when I hear her soft footsteps coming down the hall, it nearly stops. She walks in, calm as a still lake herself, wrapped in her old terry cloth robe, the faded blue making her eyes seem even brighter. She doesn't say a word at first, pours herself a mug of coffee and sits across from me, her movements slow and deliberate, like she's got all the time in the world. I clear my throat, a sound scraping against the silence, and force the words out, hesitant and clumsy. Rachel, what happened out there on the lake? Why'd you do what you did? I can barely look at her as I ask, my gaze darting between the coffee stains on the table and the steam rising from my untouched mug. She doesn't flinch, doesn't look away. Her eyes meet mine, steady and unapologetic, and she takes a slow sip of her coffee before setting the mug down with a soft clink. When she speaks, her voice is quiet but raw, like she's peeling back a layer of herself I've never seen. I've been feeling restless, Alex. Like I need something more, something new. I've been craving experiences I've never dared to chase before. What happened at the lake with Mark? That was me testing those waters, pushing a boundary I didn't even know I had. Her words hit me like a punch, stealing the air from my lungs. I'm stunned, frozen in my seat as she keeps going, her honesty cutting deeper with every word. I sit there, grappling with the weight of Rachel's confession, trying to wrap my mind around what it means for us. Months have passed since that raw morning in the kitchen, and I've had a lot of time to reflect on how our lives have shifted. It's been a journey, no doubt about it, one I never saw coming. Rachel and we've taken cautious steps into this uncharted territory, exploring a dynamic in our relationship that's as thrilling as it is daunting. The weeks following that conversation were tense at first, filled with long talks late into the night, laying bare our deepest fears and desires. We've had to redefine trust, rebuild it brick by brick. But in doing so, we've discovered a level of openness I didn't think was possible. I remember one specific evening, maybe a month or so after the lake incident, when we attended a private gathering with other couples who share similar outlooks on relationships. It was held in a dimly lit loft downtown, the kind of place with exposed brick walls and flickering candles casting warm shadows everywhere. I was nervous as hell, my palms sweaty as we walked in, but Rachel squeezed my hand, her touch grounding me. Seeing others so at ease with their choices, laughing and sharing stories, it shifted something in me. It wasn't just about pushing boundaries. It was about connection, about understanding parts of ourselves we'd kept hidden. That night, as we drove home under a starlit sky, I felt a spark of excitement I hadn't known in years. A sense that we were embarking on something daring together. Then there was the day we went back to Lake Willow. It wasn't planned, just a spontaneous drive on a quiet Sunday. The water looked the same, shimmering under the sun, but my perspective had changed. I no longer saw it as a place of betrayal, but as a turning point, a spot where our story took a sharp, unexpected curve. We sat on the shore, skipping stones across the surface, and talked about how far we'd come. There was no anger in me anymore, just a quiet acceptance and a curiosity about where this path might lead. Of course, it hasn't all been smooth sailing. There's a sense of hope, a belief that we can navigate whatever comes our way. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.